What's up YouTube? Moose coming at you once again with another unboxing video. Today we're going to take a look at this Gecko Models 1/35 scale skid steer. So let's get started. Alright, so start with the box art. Like I said, this is a Gecko Models, whom I've never heard of. But I seen this on Andy's Hobby Headquarters on his Black Friday sale and decided to pick it up. But it is a 1/35 scale U.S. Army light Type 3 skid steer loader, which is actually an M400W, so used by the U.S. Army. A few things up here on the box. They tell you it's not for children, they don't include paints, blah 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 blah. It's a precise kit. We'll see about that, I guess, because I've never done this. Includes photo etch parts and decals. So as you can see, it's a pretty cool image of the skid steer in action, probably over in the Middle East if I had to make a guess based on the sandbags and stuff in the background. So I took the lid off because the box is really hard to get out, but here on the side we can see the photo etch sheet included, which includes like the sides of it, a sheet of decals. There are a couple QR codes here. One goes to their Facebook. I'm not sure what the other is. The other side. So here we can see it is model number 35GM0008. And let's get cracking into the box, I guess. Alright, so when we open the box up, we're greeted by the instruction manuals. We will throw that off to the side. And there's a few bags of parts. Couple sprues there, and at the very bottom we have the photo etch. Let me put the box to the side and we will start with the photo etch actually. So the very thin sheet of photo etch, but it got a great detail of the sides. Real long sheet here. I'm not sure what that is. A couple of little details. Oh, the opposite side. Sorry about the lighting today. My lights are all packed away. So they also include this really thin piece of wire, and then the decal sheet. Oh, make that two pieces of wire. Then the decals. Nothing saying any indication of who actually makes the decals. Let me try zooming it a bit here. Maybe it'll help. But they look reasonably crisp, fairly detailed. So there's warning signs and stuff like that around the vehicle. So I guess the first sprue we'll dig into itself will be the clear one, because that's always a big contention point. So here, looks very clear. So there's the sides. On the left here, that'd be the front window. Probably little lights. Maybe the back window, I'm guessing. I'm not too familiar with like Bobcat equipment, so I can't really say. So there's that. Next up, we will take a look at the wheels. I don't believe they are resin. I'm pretty sure they're just injection molded, but they look really good. Got great tread pattern on them. No center seam that I can see. However, it does look like it was molded in, if you look, if my camera will focus, certain angles. So it looks like they use like a multi-part mold. So I actually see lines going out from the center that aren't very thick at all, so it'll be real easy to clean up. So there's 4 of those, of course. In the first baggie, there's 2 different sprue types included. I'll show you them real quick, but putting them aside. So the first sprue has various fine little details. Not sure what they are, but they look pretty good, nice and crisp. So I said there's 2 sprues of that, and then there's 4 sprues with the actual wheel assembly, or the hub assembly rather. Fits together. Looks really good, actually. So from what I can see so far, great detail. Alright, so into the first actual bag, there are 2 sprues. Zoom out a little bit and give you a better overview of that one. One of the pieces actually came off the sprue and is loose, but it's a matching one to this. It looks like up here it looks like a ram. Again, I'm not really sure what I'm looking at to say what it is, other than it's bits of the skid steer. Nothing calls out to my attention immediately, other than those look like tow hooks there. Maybe some like plumbing detail there that I'm guessing might be part of the actual boom. Some sort of guards there. Anyways, let me zoom back in and get you a little bit better shot. Said again, sorry for the glare. I don't have all my lighting out today. And then the other sprue in that bag includes the 2 halves of the body. Again, very well detailed. Looks like that might be part of the bucket. I bet that's the bottom of the skid steer. And it looks like those 2 might be sides to the bucket there, with a couple other various bits in there. So again, looks very nice and crisp, which is always ideal. Show you the other side. So not seeing too much in terms, well, I guess there are some locating tabs and stuff, so hopefully that's promising. And then in the final bag there are 2 more sprues yet again. This one, so I'll just kind of work the way down. Looks like might be some parts like a hydraulic cylinder here. My hand's making it focus. There's like the back grill, actually looks really good. I'll zoom in on that. That might be more of the bucket, I presume, because from what I've seen, it looks like it might be the kind that like opens at the back. Might be the boom arms there. And then some sort of fairings or something there. The interior, the floor, and the ceiling there. So I'll bring those up closer so you can see those. You know, they don't have a crazy amount of detail, but they do look sharp. Go to this grill again, because I noticed in the box actually got a very surprising amount of their detail. And finally, you know, I mean, again, rather simple kit. Here's the last one. So this, I think, is more to do with the boom arms, more plumbing stuff. That looks like it might be like hydraulic lines. More supports. Again, it looks like that might be part of the bucket, like because I see what looks like jaws there. There's actually some slide mold detail on this, which is kind of cool. Might be more of the grill. Flip it over the other side and see. You can see the seat. And then this cover here as well, which is actually pretty see-through. So that's kind of cool. Alright, so then we have the instructions presented in a nice glossy color format. They give you a little bit of information about the actual thing here. And yeah, a few different languages, so that's nice. So again, since I've never done it, they give you a little information up here on how to build your model, things that you need. They give you a sprue layout, which is always nice. I always like that so I can verify that I've got everything. Does say here 2 pieces of wire, so I guess that makes sense from earlier. So then I guess we will see if I can bring in just a little bit more. So to start, looks like we are building up some of the interior, building up like the back bulkhead behind the seat, you know, the operator. Let me come back out a little, might be a little too close. Some of his, you know, fit in the seat, and some of the controls like the seat belt and the joysticks. Some of the pieces, looks like wiring or something there. So they call out a few of the colors, which is nice, but they say down here, as you can see, it's the interior is desert sand yellow. So in the next page, step 3, we're adding like the crossbar and a few more of the control type things. There, it's with some photo etch, it looks like. Step 4, we move on and build the front window. So you gotta like mask and paint the outer rim black and fit some of the grab handles and things like that for protection, and like a wiper blade actually. Then I guess the one piece I was questioning is the frame for that, fitting a few things before finally adding the actual window with some grab handles to that. They show you where to put a few decals down here on that, and then on the inside fitting some of the controls that would be there. Moving on to step 5, we actually start putting together the cab of it, so we can see we're fitting those photo etch pieces to the windows, and then fitting it with the front window to what we built earlier for the interior. Doing the same on the other side, and then they show very helpfully some details down here on how things should fit together, as well as some more decals down in there. Step 6, basically just taking that and sandwiching it into the middle of the frame of the actual skid steer. And then in step 7, we start adding some of the external parts, so like the plate on the bottom where your attachments, or no, tow hooks go, as well as again a few decals, and I'm not sure exactly what those for. Assuming something to do with the arms. Step 8, we build the cab roof, so it looks like maybe like an air conditioning unit or something gets fitted before we add some like the lights that would be on it to it, and kind of sandwiching everything together onto the roof before we finally add that on. Step 9, we turn to the rear of it with the radiator, fitting again a few lights. The one photo etch piece that I was questioning earlier, I'm seeing now, it looks like you have to fold up an accordion style to represent like a baffle or protection, I guess, for like the radiator and the cooling system on the back, before we put those two together and put them onto the back of the skid steer. Step 10, we start building the booms. I see note immediately here, they say don't glue this pin in, and then they are also saying don't glue up the hydraulic ram, as well as when you put it to the actual boom arm with the piece sandwiched in there. So looks like it might be posable. Step 11, we're basically doing the same thing, but for the other side. Step 12, I was right, I guess, earlier when I said that it looked like there was some like hydraulic lines. So those very thin pieces are actually hydraulic lines that go on the boom, which is amazing detail to have. And then they show where a couple hold downs get added to that. Step 13, then we add, looking ahead in step 14, where the bucket would actually attach, the mechanism for that. Again, no gluing, so again, it looks like it might be posable. It's kind of weird. They show you to build this and then flip it over to here. I wish they would have kind of put it down here instead. And as a subset, that wire that was included, you cut and fit to some actual fittings to glue to the boom arm. So that's kind of cool that they actually include out of the box hydraulic line detail. So step 14, then we can fit that arm to the side of it with a few other pieces before adding the wiring, attaching the wiring that we did back here to the body itself, again with those little fittings. Step 15, then, if I can turn the page, we build up like the fairing, I guess I would call it, and such, and adding it to the body where that'd all be mounted and fixed into place. Again, don't know that we are gluing there. Okay, and a few more decals. Step 16, we're basically just start repeating building the boom up. So I'll skip over that more or less for the other side of the skid steer. Again, continues in step 18. This side, though, actually has a little bit more hydraulic lines, because then we see is in step 19 when we add that on with some of the other stuff that there are hydraulic lines that then run across the central support to the other side piston, which I would assume is for activating both cylinders to tilt the bucket, kind of buttoning up that side's fairings as well, and adding some photo etch. I'm not sure what that is, and I'm not sure what we're building here because it doesn't get added anywhere. We build up whatever this is. I'm sure we'll find out on the next page. Okay, so it's for the bucket. So we continue in construction of the bucket, the various pieces of it. Looks like there's an option between sides. I'll have to look back at that and see. Step 23, then we attach the bucket with, after painting it and decaling it and everything, fitting some pins or some sort of blocks to the top of that, probably the hydraulic actuators to open the bucket up. And then in step 24, we fit a couple more hydraulic lines and hold them down. They show the detail of what that should look like then there. Step 25, we put the wheels together and put them on. And step 26, it's done. So it looks like it's going to be a great model. The hydraulic detail I especially love. That'll look really good if it works out. And then they include a color call out over here. I mean, for a modern piece of equipment, of course, it's just going to be, you know, desert sand yellow with a few accent bits. They actually use Mission Models paints up here. They tell you those. I'll probably substitute for whatever else. And it says here that it's the 130th Engineer Battalion in Puerto Rico National Guard. So that's what the actual unit they modeled it after was. And that's it. So I hope you all enjoyed that first look at of the Gecko Models skid steer. As always, thank you for watching, subscribing. I'm hoping to get more content soon, so stick around. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.